Does anybody know what the topic today is? Would anybody like to unmute and answer? What is the topic today? Don't
LSR.
focus on what is showing on the screen. Don't look at the screen.
LSRW skills.
Just
LSRW.
LSRW, Rajni?
The teaching of English. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
the teaching of it?
LSRW skills. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Well, see, that just simply tells us that we look at what we want to see. Okay. The topic for today is process to product for LSRW skills in the teaching of English. So it is not about LSRW skills. I dare not take up that topic. You're all masters. Okay. You're teachers of English. You're all masters. You know your LSRW skills like the back of your hand. My job today is to tell you about the process. Products, we all know. Products are there in our curriculum, whether it's a letter, whether it's a listening to a lecture, whether it is speaking on a topic, whether it's a particular chapter to be read. So products, you all know. The job today is to take you through the process. Okay. And more than anything else, the beginning of each product. How do we get our kids to sort of get interested? How do we sort of look at the integration of skills and then, right? So as basically I always ask my friends, the participants here, what got them here, but I'm not going to do that today since I've already sort of, gone in. So let's proceed from here, right? So we have the two approaches. We have the product approach and the process approach. Now, I'm not much for the chat box. I love listening to people, except that I can't see you when I'm presenting. So it would be lovely if somebody could unmute and give an answer, mute back again to allow someone else to speak. So let's hear it. What do you think is the difference? What is the product approach? What is the process approach? And please don't worry about going wrong or not being right, etc. We are a family here. Everybody is learning. So let's hear it. What do you think is the product approach for a teacher in the classroom? Anybody? Would someone? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Rajni.
Yeah. Product would be what will be the outcome of what I'm teaching, and process will be like what methodology I'll be practicing in the class to get.
Very nice, Rajni. Very nice. Thank you so much. Very happy to hear that. Any particular features, someone else, she said that this is the end product. You're focusing only on completing the product, and the process is the steps towards it. So obviously, as teachers, as experienced teachers, we now know that the process is really important, right? The steps through which, because we are moving towards competency-based education. So at every step, we are fulfilling a formative outcome as well, right? So we need to be very careful. So what is the difference? Why is CBSE and why are educationists promoting process approach? What is the difference? Any one point of difference that you can think of? Anyone else? Rajni has already spoken. I am not going
yes,
to
ma'am.
Rajni. Yes, Livano. Yes, my dear.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. Process approach, that, as ma'am said, it deals with steps and techniques. So we are in a classroom, the setup, it's a very heterogeneous composition. There are different types of learners. So in order to, maybe this is everything that's coming out, what I think is that in order to accommodate those kind of different, the heterogeneous composition, the learners, into a similar pattern of study, we need to make we need to change and modify and modulate our process.
Okay,
The
thank you,
steps to
Livano.
change.
Yes, thank you. So is it safe to say, based on what Livano said, that the process approach is more learner-centric, whereas the product approach would probably be teacher-centric? Okay, that's a brilliant point. And differential learning abilities and so on, we take that on board. Any other point of difference that anybody can think of? Any other point of difference? Okay, let's have a look. Content is seen as a product that needs to be completed by the student. Content seen as a process leading towards the final piece. Please look at the difference. It's very, very important. Okay, because the learning, my dears, happens in the process of it all. Okay, right? Approach is teacher-centered, approach is learner-centered, and student learns how to do the task to be evaluated. Okay, the exam has a letter to the editor, or the exam has an informal letter, so I am going to teach my children how to do this. Child is saying, okay, this is how it should be, so I'm learning. And that is it. So whether they mug it up, whether it is rote, we don't know. They just simply learn. Okay, whereas over here, the students learns via pre-skill elements. So at each stage, there is a learning towards the product, so that even when the child is in the real world, those processes are going to help the child write different kinds of things. So it is not just about a particular letter, a product, or a particular article that they have learned to write. Okay, they have learned writing skills, not letter writing per se. Okay, and because it is a process-centric approach, at each step, there is either peer evaluation or teacher evaluation and feedback, okay, which really helps the child learn from one's mistakes. So because this is quite central to our academics currently, we've chosen this topic for you. So therefore, the process before the production is important. And so we will be doing a little bit on pre-writing, pre-speaking, pre-reading, and pre-listening. So we are looking at the first stage. Everything else, when the child begins writing or actually talking, etc., is something that you already know how to do. My job here is to show you the merit and importance of the pre-stage, okay? Because it all begins there, all right? So we need to remember that. So on that note, we have our LSRW skills, which are divided into the productive and the receptive. You already know this. Okay, so the productive skills would be your writing and your speaking, because you're producing those skills. You're writing, so you're producing, you're speaking, so you're producing. And we will begin with the first productive skill, that is the writing skill. Okay, yeah, so you have two. So what is highlighted here? The writing skill. Let's begin with the writing skill here. Okay. So obviously, when we are talking about the writing skill, and like I told you, we are just addressing the pre-stage in today's session. Okay. There are a lot of strategies for the wild stage, for the post stage also, but I'm not getting into that. And even for the pre-stage, I thought I'll bring to your notice some of the lesser known activities or strategies that are out there. Okay. So the writing process, what is involved in the writing process? Come on, anyone. What is involved in the writing process?
Brainstorming, thinking.
Very good. So you have the first thing. What can you call the brainstorming process? What do you mean by brainstorming? What is it? What is the aim of brainstorming?
Stimulate the action of writing process.
Yeah. So when you ask them to brainstorm, or when you ask them to, talk about something or discuss something, what are you planning to achieve? What is the objective of the teacher?
The content points, the value points, the child's thought process on that particular theme or topic.
Very good. So you are eliciting whatever is already there in the child's head, the previous knowledge, and you are seeing how much the child knows and how much the child can connect, right? Any other thing that you do after that? Anybody? Anyone? So you have elicited ideas, either you've written them on the board, or you've made those associograms or spider web charts, or etc. What do you do? What else after that?
After eliciting, we try to organize the ideas in a cohesive, coherent way. Yeah.
Very good. Surya,
the right kind of vocabulary.
Yes.
We talk about that, and then we talk about the structures,
yes,
the language.
Yes. So I'm going to stop at the collection of ideas and the organization of ideas. That is what I would say would be the pre-writing stage. Okay. So planning is what you're eliciting, that is the collection of ideas in the coder, and organizing, that is your planning, which is your pre-writing. Okay. And it is extremely important. A lot of teachers in many schools often skip this and move to drafting and finishing. It's straight away about writing and finishing. So we are not looking at those stages currently. We are going to be looking at planning. I've already asked you what you do. Would anybody else like to tell me what do they do in the planning stage? Somebody said brainstorming. I also heard discussion. Is there something else you do?
We also try to give them some kind of visuals or verbal clues to make them think on that, to trigger their thinking, to make them come to a certain point that we want them to lead them to, some
Yeah.
kind of stimulus to help them.
Very good. And what about organizing? Is there something else you follow for organizing? Anyone else? Thanks, Shweta. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
The content,
Very
production
good.
content, and then conclusion.
Yeah.
And
So
listing
you
out the points.
probably
We give them, ma'am, if I may, we give them a sample as well. Why not give them a sample and show them
Yes.
what is a model writing?
Yes. Yes. Why not? Why not? Yes, of course. That's really good. So thank you. I'm so glad that we are all on the same page. Let me showcase some popular ideas. Okay. I'm hoping they are other than what we've just talked about. Okay. Yeah. So the first thing, I'm sure a lot of you already do this, but this is very important before you are moving towards any writing piece. Okay, irrespective of the class. All right. So anybody, could you open this up for me? What does GAPS stand for? Wild guesses. Come on, it's pre-writing. So let's have some fun. Yes. What does GAPS stand for? What
Maybe
is
G
G?
stands for guessing.
Guessing.
Let the
Okay.
students guess.
Yes. Yes.
Then
Okay.
associate.
Associate.
Associate
Okay.
those ideas.
Yeah. Very nice. P.
P,
And
then
Anyone
planning,
else?
And
Yeah.
those items.
presentation.
Practical,
Okay.
presentation,
Yeah. Well, it begins with P.
essay synthesis,
Yeah. Well, so thank you.
synthesis.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I was first asked this, I was clueless. You're much, much smarter. Okay. So G for genre. What are you being asked to write? Audience. Who are you writing for? Purpose. What are you writing to achieve? And style, formal or informal. So it's always good to share this with the child. I heard Mrinal, I think, mention, why can't we show them the actual product or the model? Why can't we, when you show something like that, you could always ask this then as well. Yeah. So it's important that they know, you know, in several groups that I am in WhatsApp groups, a lot of teachers are debating whether the analytical paragraph writing for class 10 needs a title. Okay, so those kind of questions get addressed when we discuss this. All right, obviously the purpose is analysis. It is not a presentation for someone to, you're not presenting it anywhere. So obviously it will not take a title or a heading, right? So when we train our kids to think this way, even later when they're writing different pieces in their lives, maybe a proposal, not the marriage kind, the corporate kind. Okay, so when they're writing things like the proposal, etc., these things automatically will ring true. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. Now, let's take different products, okay? Like the popular products that are out there. Because this session was mandated for classes 6 to 10, so I'm going to touch upon a little of everything. We are going to trot on a bit because we have lots to cover, right? And I don't want anybody going back saying, we could just do this, we couldn't do that, all right? So for story writing, what do we do in the pre-writing stage? Yeah, let's hear it. What do we do?
We give them a rough outline of as to what they have to think upon.
Okay, a rough outline. Are you talking about a verbal cue? Are you talking about a verbal cue?
A verbal or a visual also, both can do. I mean, I think, ma'am, because
yes, very good.
We have to ask. We have to elicit responses again.
Very good. So I heard Swapna, right? I heard Swapna say that a verbal cue or an outline is a good idea. Obviously, it's mandated. It's there in most of the question papers I have seen. My only reservation, and I ask you that when you're teaching this particular thing, that if you've already given them an outline, are you not sort of curtailing the creativity a bit?
Correct.
It's just a question. There is no right, wrong there. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, ma'am. Why not give them the freedom to select their own characters, to select a plot, to select this is how I feel like to begin a story with.
Yes.
Let them select the plot, the elements, whatever they wish to. And then we can obviously work on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
So great. You know, when we give verbal cues, I'm not in favor of outlines, but then we do not question our examining bodies. But when we give verbal cues, when we are sort of, you know, helping them negotiate this particular product, we probably give a starting or an ending or something in the middle, like you all have been doing, right? Now, that is ideation. How do you manage the organization part? Because ideation as well as organization comes in pre. So how do you manage organizing? How do you get them to organize ideas for a story?
First of all, historical point of view, then introduction of the characters and places.
Very good.
Then we will continue in part of the study. At last, we will go to the conclusion and the morals of the story.
Okay. Now,
and there is something called as a story mountain.
Yes.
Which we can always, you know, just how to develop, and then there will be a problem, then the solution. Means in general, when how we begin initially, how to do the story writing.
Yes. So the point is, like Mrinal and Ravinder mentioned, that you tell them about these features. My point is, when the teacher shares these things with them, they get lost. It is too much of an information overload. So like most of you have already been doing, it's a great idea to use a graphic organizer. Somebody mentioned Story Mountain, popularly known as a plot diagram, right? Or academically known as the Freytag's pyramid. You could use any of those. It's the same thing. This is what it is, something that you already know, right? So you're not telling the child to write a story. You don't want them to write a story at the pre-writing stage. No, that is drafting. We are not interested in that. You can definitely give the same stimulus to everybody and tell them, now you just do this in pairs or you do it in groups of 4. 2 students in the front, 2 behind. I'm going to talk about a traditional classroom. I am done with virtual teaching. New session is going to begin with blended, more or less tilted in favor of the actual classroom. Okay. So classes 6, 7, 8, 9, I think class 9 has this prescribed in their syllabus. So, you know, you simply give them this particular thing and let them write what they want to write. If you want to give an example, you can do it with a Thirsty Crow or Cinderella or something that they are aware of. Okay. The only thing that sort of holds back the kids is that they concentrate too much on the plot of the story when you give them something like this. So perhaps we could sort of step back a little and put a hold on this method, for the second step. It's a good thing to give this organizer. It, as the name suggests, it will make them organize their ideas. They will begin with the setting and characters. They will talk about the rising action. This happened, this happened, this happened. And the most climactic moment in the story. What was the problem? How did the problem start getting resolved, following action? And what was the resolution? You could separately explain the conflict. I don't want to get into all this because this session is not about writing skills. This session is about just pre-writing. So we are going to have other sessions on exclusive skills if you so desire, because there is a whole world of things to talk about, especially based on the NEP that we have now, right? So my suggestion then would be, because we have all kinds of students, a lot of them who also are first generation learners. So what is it that we can help the child do to organize? Always in pairs or groups, please. Do not get them to do any pre-stage solo. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, right? So we would do something called reverse reading. Okay, all right. So tell the students that you forgot to get the reading text. Okay, tell them that you wanted them to read something, but you forgot to get it. Say that you would still like them to solve some comprehension questions. Distribute or display the questions. Okay, so you could either distribute to each group or pair, or you could write them on the board, show them on the smart board, any which way that you want. Ask each student pair to attempt answering by using their imagination. Okay, these are the kind of questions. Now I'm going to give everybody, say, maybe a minute and a half. That's a lot of time that I'm giving you. Maybe a minute. See if you can answer these questions. Go step by step. Ten seconds over, 50 seconds to go. Very nice. Interesting. I'm glad some people are noting things down. Very good. Okay, let's do the first one or two, just to give you a feel of what it is. Who was Sujata and what did she enjoy doing? Anyone? Yeah?
Sujata was a good swimmer. She loved swimming.
I'm sorry, Rajni, my love, you're breaking. Could you come again?
Yeah, Sujata was a good swimmer and she loved to swim.
Okay, wonderful. Now somebody else. Now she's given me the first sentence. Now, if you are her partner in class, what did she find out one day based on what she said in the beginning? What did she find out one day? She's a good swimmer and she enjoys swimming. So what did she find out one day? Anyone?
She found her companion one day, her friend one day.
Okay. Wow. What did she do about it? What did she do about it? Why? What happened then? How did Sujata feel about it? What was the surprising end? Is there any message? The moment the student pair starts answering this, there will be some kind of an organized way in which a type of a story gets ready. And imagine the same set of questions, dear teachers, will give you several stories, different stories coming from each student pair. Okay, could I request you to mute your microphones in case some are unmuted? Yeah, so this is a fabulous way to get them to create a story. And now imagine when they are doing it in the exam, it also promotes free writing, by the way. Pre-writing stage is to promote free writing. Okay, so they are doing it, they are not bothered, they can even put it in phrases, no need for full sentences. All right, so you could either give it in a worksheet or just simply showcase. It works very well. Okay, and if you feel that you have a particular chapter on a certain theme or around a certain emotion, etc., you could do this before that as well. You know, something like this before that as well. So you're killing two birds with one stone. In our language, we say you're integrating skills. So it's going to work out very well for you. Okay. Yeah. So reverse reading, that's one that I would recommend. Once they have answered this, then you get them on to do this. Once they have done something like this, then you get them to do it. So they have put it down. They have somewhat organized it because you scaffolded it in such a manner that they would organize it in a proper way, and then you get them to put it here. That will work very well.
If I may ask, if I may ask one question, ma'am.
Yes,
the questions can be in a pair or a group discussion. Do you suggest that a plot diagram should be individual?
No, I would say anything at the pre-stage. I'll tell you the reason why. Thank you for the question, Mrinal.
Thank you.
I'll tell you the reason why. Because it doesn't work in the real world, working solo. When you're organizing something, you get them to do it together because they're still learning. Once you feel that they have picked it up and you're, setting aside a classwork, then you say, okay, now for individual use, I'm giving you a plot diagram. This is what your stimulus is. Do it. Those that are good will be put in the portfolio. Okay. So that's when you move towards, but when you're helping them sort of learn the ropes, make it pair or make it group. It always works better.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. It gets them to collaborate. And as we know, 21st century skills are a big thing now. Yeah. So we are going to go with that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So reverse reading. Then, like somebody mentioned, the story mountain. But I would still say that it's always better if it has questions. I mean, we are not trying to stump our children here. All right. So we are going to make it in the form of some questions. So story mountain. So you have, it's like a plot diagram only, except that you've given in some questions here. So it makes it simpler for them.